Good afternoon, Harlem and Harlems of the world. I am Terry Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. I come to you on this powerful Mother's Day live here from Harlem, and it's a powerful, powerful day. As many of you know, Harlem Network News started at the onset of COVID, and we are still here. Our mission and our mantra is to assure that Harlem and the Harlems of the world are informed and inspired, engaged, and called to action. And that is where we are. That is where we stand. We speak truth to power, and we are the voice and the drumbeat of Harlem. Mother's Day in Harlem and the Harlems of the world is a very, very significant time. Our Black mothers, our Native mothers have stood firm, have persevered, have endured, and have held great faith. As I sat, and I am a member of the Abyssinian Baptist Church, which is the church of Adam Clayton Powell, Sr., Jr., first Black Congressman, Dr. Proctor, and our late Dr. Reverend Calvin O. Butts. So the third. And that is a place where there has been activism. And I just want to say that the sermon this morning really, really spoke about our Black women. And Reverend Rashad Hoggard brought it on home to a Black woman from Harlem, pushing through the crowd as the woman in the Bible that had an issue of blood and touched Jesus' garment. He knew he was touched and she was healed. But she pushed through the crowd. And Black mothers have been pushing through the crowd in many, many ways for many years. It has not been an easy ride. I want to salute all Black mothers, all mothers, for their courage, for their faith, for their perseverance, to continue to toil, to assure that their families and their children survive. And it is indeed a war. It was a war as we came across that Middle Passage and were dropped in various places, and they tried to take our language, our culture, our lives. And still we rise, as Maya Angelou speaks, and still we rise. But it's taken courage, it's taken perseverance, it's taken continuance, it's taken a village, it's taken a collective stance. And I first want to salute today my grandmother, Addie Stovall Duncan. Today, May 12th, would be her 130th birthday. She hailed from Roanoke, Virginia, where the real McCoys were. She married Wayman Duncan Sr., who was from Rome, Georgia. They came to Harlem, raised their 5 children, 4 boys and 1 girl. And she stood firm. My grandfather died when my father was 16 years old, and she worked as a seamstress and brought her family forth. Consequently, all of my uncles can cook, clean, sew, take care of their children, great fathers, because they had to work early to survive. They helped one another, they pushed each other through school. That's what came out of Addie Duncan. And the same came out of Parthenia Spelman White Ingram, my other grandmother, who lived in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. She actually taught, and she was at Elizabeth City State Teachers College. And if she was alive, she would be 130 today. And she came to Harlem. And she came, and my grandfather, who was a barber, who was a deacon at the AME church, right here in Harlem. But they came because their third daughter, or their third child, my mother, Myrtle, was born and weighed 2 pounds. And my great-grandmother, Mary Ann Askew, had to put my mother in a chicken incubator and feed her with an eyedropper because the hospitals were segregated. So they had to leave and they had to come to Harlem, where they made a life, where they were able to educate their children, where they actually moved out, one to St. Albans, one to Yonkers, neighbors with Mercer Ellington, Duke Ellington's son, and Catherine and Count Basie. So it's a powerful thing what the women can do and what they did with their families, with their men, with their siblings, how they looked out for each other. So that's my reflection as I think about a Mother's Day here in Harlem, and the struggle that still continues. Though we've come through the Middle Passage, though we've come through slavery, to quote freedom, we experienced Jim Crow, we have come through the Civil Rights Movement, we came through the Black Power movement, and as my classmate, Gil Scott Heron from Lincoln University, Spider said, it's winter in America. And winter in America has lasted long. Much of what we have done, what Dr. King did, what Malcolm X did, what Medgar Evers did, what they all died for, is rolling back. It is rolling back. But we are still here. We still stand strong. And that's a powerful thing as we stand on this Mother's Day. I want to give a shout out to some Harlem mothers, and I might forget some, but I raised my children right here in Harlem, was part of Harlem School of the Arts, Children's Art Carnival, Apache Cruise, Dojo in East Harlem, Central Park East Secondary, Harlem Little League. You know, we were beginning members of Harlem Little League. Remember having to change our address because there was no Harlem Little League to play in the West Side Little League. So we have been through it all, but not alone. We stood together. Together we stand, divided we fall. And I want to give a shout out to some Harlem mothers. Reverend Rhonda Akake McLean Noor, Sato Begrisha, Mama Rashida of the Honeys and the Bears, Mama Sylvia Green, Akake's mother Stephanie Berry, Lemuria, Moji, Asantawa, Jifa, Shanawa, that's the Righteous Passage group under Sister Donna Marimba of Hunter College, Nakualeku, who has transitioned, a midwife who birthed my nieces, my granddaughter, Dr. Esther Hyatt, who worked tirelessly for our people, school psychologists, Dr. Michelle Alexander of Blue Nile, all of my Lincoln sisters and aunties, Lincoln crew, Ellen, Tina, Vicky, Teresa, Jackie, Dorcas, Iris, all my Lincoln sisters, Sharon, everybody, Ashman Hall, shout it out. We went through so much. Miss Lottie DeLeston, Ellen's mother, her sister, Kalima, my Aunt Shirley, my Aunt Helen, my Aunt Fanny, Mary Duncan, my Aunt May, all the Queens Delta crew, Grandma Barbara, all my Cali fam, Aunt Monica, Grandma Barbara's sister, Aunt Kathleen, Aunt Sylvia, Aunt May, Auntie Donna, Sag Harbor aunties, Doris, Chloe, Lisa, Aunt Nellie, Aunt Aquila, Bonnie, Aunt Muriel, Miss Eleanor, all the family. None of it could be really done alone. Nanny Weena and all her sisters, the Bovian crew. It takes a village and it's a life journey. And I'm sure all of you who are listening can name and be reflective on what it took to, and what it's taking to raise your children and your grandchildren. But I sit here and I stand for us. I stand for us as Black women. And even as we mature in age and we become elders, and I'm an elder, but here in Harlem, we got elders, and then we got elders or seniors, and then we got seniors, because we got folks that are 100 and 102 and are extremely active. They still get out to vote. They're still engaged with their great-grandchildren. And here, Black people got to work. Even if you're a senior, you're working for the most part. Retirement is not in the picture, okay? Because it is the struggle to really keep our dreams going, to keep our children and the dreams of our children going, and to prosper. And there is no rest for the weary. As it says in many of our songs, I'm in no ways tired. And so, you know, life for me ain't been no crystal stair, Langston Hughes, but I was climbing on. And that's where we stand as Black women here today. That's exactly where we stand. But I want to speak also on this Mother's Day about education. Education is critical. Education and faith. That is something that Reverend Dr. Calvin O'Butt spoke about, the Euphrates, the coming together, the education and faith. And that is a critical thing. And I am calling out and calling all young people to take a stand. Young mothers, take a stand. Let's fight for the education of our children, because right here in District 5 in Central Harlem, education is separate but not equal. And we know back in the 50s, that's when all kinds of legislation came to stop separate but not equal education. And it's not so much that it is separate, but the fact is that it is unequal. There are some problems going on in the education of our children in the public schools in Central Harlem. And it is a complex situation. Yes, we have a Black chancellor, and the chancellor comes out of Eagle Academy, an incredible school that was created, you know, for all males. Yes, we have a Black male district superintendent who comes out of principalship, Thurgood Marshall Elementary, a phenomenal school. But we've got to get on the inside and we got to pull some weeds. And Harlem Network News is about that life. We got to pull some weeds. We cannot allow the miseducation of our children. And it's coming from a lot of places. It's coming from a place of economics, you know, where parents are struggling to feed their children. It's coming from a place of education where parents are not educated. It is coming from a place of families not being together. A lot of single parent families, be they male or female. It is coming from a place that our community has more drug centers than other communities. Harlem has 70% of the drug facilities in the city. This impacts our quality of life greatly, okay? We are often walking down the street. There is crime. There's mental illness. There are people shooting up on the street. This is all visual to our children. This creates stress. We are over-policed here in the Harlem community and the Harlems of the world. There are stop and checks. There are police on every corner. There is driving while being Black. There is a concern that if you do get stopped, that you don't get shot. So this is what we are dealing with in this world. We have got to look at the music. What is the music saying? These are not love songs. There's explicit sex in some of the music. There's talk of violence. There's talk of killing. There's talk of gangbanging. You got 5-year-olds listening to that. Music is a powerful thing. We got to take back the airwaves. People are not just doing this music. There's money behind this. You know, there are others, you know, not necessarily our people, our culture, who are driving this train, making money off of it. And then there are those who are making the music who are feeding into this. We've got to stop this, okay? There is the whole technical revolution that is going on. We've got to monitor that. What are our children looking at? What are our children listening to? How are we guiding our children? How are we controlling what is happening? How are we leading by example as mothers? Where is the discipline? Where is the structure? How are we caring for our children? How are we dressing them, cleaning them, you know, attending to their hair? What are we doing as mothers and parents, and what do we need to do? I know that my grandmothers did not have much, but they knew how to cook. They knew how to clean. They knew how to keep house. You were dressed a certain way. Don't you dare come out that house without your hair done. You know what I'm saying? That's what time it was. And there's a value to that. There is a value to that kind of discipline, to morals, to home value. There's a value to that. These were wise women. These were knowing women. These women knew herbs. They knew food. And yes, as Queen Afua did say and does say, and I am a sacred woman, you know, the key to your family is in the kitchen. What you feed them, healthy food, you know, exercising, balance. There's so much as mothers that we can guide our home, that we can guide our men, that we can guide our children. And at the end of the day, it's all about love. And I can stand here and say on this Mother's Day, because I am a mother who lost my son to gunshot. My son, Ali Sam Wayman Wisdom, Columbo the Shining Star, who grew up here in Harlem, who was a star pitcher, left-handed switch hitter for Harlem Little League, who was a karate master with Sensei Apache Cruz, who experienced many things, who did music, who went to Howard University, was a classmate of Chadwick Boseman, was there when Taraji P. Henson was there, who experienced much, destined for greatness, went through Harlem challenges. I mean, pretty much, you've got to be careful with what's happening in education, because they start building the jails when how people do in the third grade test. And the majority of the jails are filled up with Black men. So Black and brown men, that's who the jails are filled up with. This is the prison industrial complex. They're making stuff for Victoria's Secrets, $50 a day. That's what we need to look into as mothers. But I lost my son to gunshot 2.5 years ago on the Shinnecock Reservation. The case remains unsolved. You know, I don't know the motive. We don't know why. It was one shot to the heart, like an assassination. This is a place that was family to him. He was part of the Youngblood Singers ever since he was 3 years old. As my brother was married to Shinnecock, we have Cherokee in our family. But this is not uncommon. I am a member of Harlem Mothers and Fathers Saved, started by co-founder Jackie Rowe Adams. Why did she start that? Because she lost 2 sons to gunshot, one at 19, one at 29, you know, and so there are 50 members. And as I've joined Harlem Mothers and Fathers Saved, about 3 months after my son passed, and after having Jackie Rowe Adams on Harlem Network News, and I went there to find that I know 3 other people there. You know what I'm saying? One was my neighbor, another neighbor up the street. One was my sister's stepson. You know what I'm saying? So this is a common thing for us. So we, Black mothers, brown mothers, Native mothers, we got to stand, and we have to fight for our lives. We have to fight for the lives of our children. And it is not what happens to us, but what we do with that, so that our children's lives are not in vain. Our children left children. My son had a son, has a son, who now, he's my grandson, but he's my son. And he's at Howard University. And he's in computer engineering. But I still have to stand for him. I have to stand for him. As a Black mother, we cannot let down our guard. I believe the children are the future. I know education is the key. I take it personally when I see separate but not equal education going on in District 5, when I see young people who are in high school who just are completely not with us, who can't read, can't really write, don't really speak, and the street and the computer and the phone is what some of them are about. This is disturbing. And some of this has to do with leadership. Some of it has to do with their circumstances. It's complicated. It's complicated, but we've got to fix it. Whatever it is, it's got to be fixed. And I believe discipline is the key. We got to take back our children. It's critical. You know, we also have cannabis shops that are illegal on every corner here in Harlem. This is outrageous. They are selling to young people. This is destructive to the young people's brain, can have something to do with why they are having a problem to learn. But we got to take it back. We got to fix it. We got to step in. I mean, I salute the chancellor, because we're going to be coming with some Black studies, you know, in the fall in our classes, but it's going to take a lot. There's a brother that's written a book that speaks about etiquette, and that's critical. We got to get back to basics. We have to get back to basics. We come from kings and queens. We come from a great people. We come from the creators and inventors of things, you know, and the war's not over. So I just want to say to everyone, happy Mother's Day, blessings, stand strong, have courage, push through the crowd, have faith, let's talk, let's work, let's organize ourselves. You can't do it alone, so join organizations that helps, whatever the organization is, be it your church, be it your sorority, be it groups that are doing some great work like Win with Black Women in media, but you Black women in film, but you cannot stand alone. Together we stand, divided we fall. This is Harlem Network News, and I'm Terry Wisdom. And happy Mother's Day, blessed Mother's Day. We're looking to have some town meetings to pull people together to rise up and change our community and stand for what we have to stand. We see what is going on in the Middle East, and we cannot stand for that. The killing of children, mothers, we cannot stand for that. No matter what the causes are or who, this and that, nobody's right in that. And we got to stand for it. And we expect our public officials to stand up. We expect our colleges to stand up. We expect our students to stand up. This is intolerable. So it's time for a change. It's time for peace. It's time for all the things that many people died for. So on this Mother's Day, that is the message. And the Middle East is not the only place. Central Africa, many things are going on. Somalia. It's time for a change. And the mothers are the ones who are going to bring it. As Lady Prema, heal a woman, heal a nation. This is Terry Wisdom. I'm Harlem Network News. One love, one love. And please reach out to us. We need your help. We need your support. Zell us at Harlem Network News. You can also Cash App us. You can go to harlemnetworknews.org. We need you. And look out, we're media partners for several things going on right now. Right now, we are working with Harlem artist, the Basquiat of Harlem, Haile King Ruby. So go to his Instagram, his page. He has been chosen to go to a festival in Germany, in Nuremberg, and we are the media partners trying to help him to get there. He is going to be celebrating his 34th birthday. He has Down syndrome, and he's amazing. So that's the kind of, quote, mothering that Harlem Network News does. Blessings and happy, blessed Mother's Day. I'm Terry Wisdom. Thank you. One love. One Harlem love.